Good morning. It's later morning and I am on the eastern side of Kaua'i. That means paradise, right? The temperature is in the mid 80s. It's just a tropical place in general, high humidity, but fantastic weather. And over the next few days I'm going to kind of drive around and check out this beautiful island and see what I can find. But this first clip will be random stops, I'm thinking, when I'm going up the coast. And by the way, the little town behind me, that is Kapa'a, the biggest, let's call it, town in Kaua'i. I believe the population is roughly 11,000 or maybe 12, something like that. The beach is narrow and the water is greenish out in the bay. And as you can see, we have plenty of space. It's not a crowded place at all. I don't think you have too many tourists on this beach. It's mostly locals coming out to enjoy a beautiful day. And I know some of them, they bring fishing equipment and they're trying to catch fish. This is the beginning of the famous Pono Center. I don't know if it's famous, but I would say this is the beginning of the downtown area of Kapa'a. So let's just, slowly walk up the street. And traffic can be crazy on this island. In many ways it's worse than Oahu in rush hour traffic. Unfortunately, the Pono market is closed today. But this is where you buy rice bentos with spam, or the famous lau lau. And a day like this, you need to survive on the street food. What is this? Thai food? Smoothies and all that stuff, boba. Yeah, it's nice. They are definitely making money today, targeting hungry tourists. Luckily, it is easy to find parking. It's not too difficult. Sometimes you have to go to a side street. But as you can see, you can park right in front of these stores. And it's free. Thank you, Kaua'i, for making parking free. I know they have other areas where you need to pay probably, but at least in Kapa'a it's free. I'm glad they saved many of these older buildings. And they are doing live glass blowing in this green building. according to the sign. And to the left, I see they have a Paniolo barbecue place. And the blue building was built in the early 1900s. I'm reading 1920, what is it, 27-ish? I can't see, but it's in the 1920s. And I'm glad they saved it. And cars are passing all the time, creating an incredible background noise. They're blasting music. People are smoking weed. You can feel it when they are passing. And Kaua'i is of course famous for chickens, roosters everywhere. What do you think about this house? Kapa'a Trade Center. It's still in use with a super nice balcony, all in wood. This is good. They have a full bar, so you can sit down and you know, have a drink. Wander upstairs. The Shido Building, 1923. And a Mexican place in Hawaii. Okay. Well, they have Paniolo, so it makes sense. That means you can get an ice cold margarita in the evening or maybe in the morning if you feel for it. They are selling pizzas in the gray building. And it looks like you can buy surfing stuff in this one. And we are literally 150-200 yards from the ocean. But they put up this fence to protect this soccer field. Otherwise, I think people would camp out in the middle of this field. I was completely wrong about the fence, because there is an opening and you can walk in and be in the middle of this field. I think the fence was set up to protect the highway from soccer balls when they are playing. That's my new theory. And I found this. It's a Japanese stone lantern from the early 1900s. And there is a sign at the bottom, but I can't read it because there's too much dirt on it. I wish I could tell you what it's symbolizing. But it was put up by the first generation of Japanese immigrants. And I believe it has something to do with the emperor. This one is saying 1915. All right, okay. Well, we have to leave that mystery for another time. The Kapa'a branch library. It's literally sitting on the beach. How nice is that? Maybe you can borrow a book and go out to the beach and sit down and read it, listening to the waves. The Kaua'i biker dudes are coming. They are going south. They love big motorcycles on this island. This is a cool thing, the book exchange right next to the library. You can bring your own book, put it in, and you can borrow a book if you like. Unfortunately, I don't read, so no time. So I can't borrow a book, but I can view these beautiful buildings. That I can do. I will walk another 150, maybe 200 yards, and then turn back and move on up along the coast. Look at this. I found an original bridge for a train. It looks like a train. And the original tracks are all rusty. A 100 years ago, you had quite a few trains in Hawaii, and now they end up in a museum. I'm guessing in Kaua'i Beach, where they are trying to preserve the history. But when you say the word history, it sounds like it was hundreds of years ago, but it wasn't. It's like one generation hop away from us. This is an Hawaiian version of Home Depot, where you can buy building material in case you like to improve your house. I will go back and check out maybe one or two small things before I'm leaving. When you start walking in this temperature, you will be wet. And maybe sweating will cool you down. Into the right is the historic Dragon Building. Let's see if they tell us when they built it. They don't. But we need to keep in mind we had a lot of immigrants from Japan, the Philippines, China, and also Portugal in the early 1900s. And my guessing is that a family or someone from China built the dragon building. I will cross the street and turn around for a better view. And there you have it, the dragon building with blue roof tiles all the way up. All right, it's time to move on, and we are going up this street. I am surrounded by chickens. Hi guys, I don't have any food. Can we be friends anyway? Yeah, I don't know. The reason I stopped just north of Kapa'a is because of this viewing point. I know the whale season is coming up, but it's too early, and if you are lucky, say in January or February, you might be able to see the humpback whale coming up from the water. Looks like you can go closer to the water, and I can't resist to walk down to the next level if there is a way down, and that's the big question mark. Maybe this will work. I'm still too high up, and well, I'm not a climber, so I guess I can't go closer, but people love this viewing point. They are close to the waves, they are biking from town, and you might ask yourself, where are these people going? Well, I tell you, I'm not sure we can see it from this place, but a couple of minutes in this direction, it's a beautiful beach, and I can show you that in how about 5 minutes. Let me go back up and drive down to that pristine beach. This is the beach people are biking to. Just a few minutes north of town itself. It looks peaceful, but swimming might not be a good idea. The ocean can be dangerous, even if you know how to swim. The parking is right next to the highway. And you could do surfing if you have a board. And I see a few guys out in the water. And there is a lifeguard I'm not sure if it's every day, but keep in mind in Kaua'i there are many beaches where there are no lifeguards at all. And if you don't know how to handle the ocean, then be careful. The safest place to be is in this corner, because you are protected by what looks like a reef, or maybe it's an artificial structure they built. I can't tell from where I'm standing, but most people hang out at the end of this sandy beach. And if you're doing fishing, you will probably go to the other side, all the way to the other side. And the lifeguard is in between the fishing guys and the families coming down to the sand. I wonder how much these homes go for. They have an excellent view on top of that bluff. It's a good idea to have fins when you go out. And if you bring a boogie board, you will be safer because you can float on it. Anahola Beach would be considered a beach for the locals. I have never seen any tourists up in this area. It's a nice bay though. And it's definitely a wilder type of beach. The sand is different, lots of rocks. People are camping out. And another interesting thing is that the beach is also used as a dumping ground for older or stolen cars. I will show you that in a minute, but it could be interesting to see where people are relaxing if you live in this town. So where is the town? Well, it's behind these trees. It's on a higher elevation between the beach and the highway. Oh, the water is coming up. Woo! I'm attacked. These kids are having a blast, of course, because it's quiet in this mini bay. While out there, you see pretty big waves. And if I hop out in the water, it would be pretty much in this quiet bay. The Hawaiian lifestyle is about being on the beach. People come out, they have gazebos, they sit down, the whole weekend. Sometimes they spend their entire life on the beach. That's my guess. All right, I will go and show you these dead cars. This is definitely the most popular spot if you're a surfer. All you need to do is to come down to the sand and go out in the bay, and you will have pretty nice waves. I see at least 10-15 guys. They are far out, so it's hard to see, but there are plenty of guys out in the water. And just a few feet from the beach, there are dead cars. This is a prime example of what you can see wherever you go in Hawaii. It's the same on all islands, by the way. They are tagged, of course, but it can be months, maybe years, before they pick them up. Another example of a dead car. Pretty much right on the beach. It's too bad, but unfortunately it's extremely common. Just above the beach itself is a newly created farm. And the trend in Hawaii is to make these ecological farms, and that's great. I wonder what they are going to plant. I mean, it could be anything. Could be fruit, papaya maybe. I mean, who knows? But I like it. It's family oriented. And this is probably owned or shared by the community. There are many ways you can use old tires, and this is one of them. What do they have, like 100 tires in a pile, and plants sticking up in every second tire? Oh my god, it's a tire dump. There are more tires behind. Okay, all right, at least they did something good with a few of these tires. Right after you pass Anahola, the village, you will come to the general store where they have payphones. I don't know if they are working, but there are 2 payphones. And of course, there is a post office. The old post office. Anahola, Hawaii, 96703. It's a nice one. And the reason I stop at this place is because there is a general store where they sell small stuff, drinks, beer, booze, peanuts, pineapple juice, and all that stuff. And Anahola itself is pretty much where the mountain range is ending. Up there. The highway is going north, and then it's slowly turning, going west. And you can't miss it. This is the little town of Kilauea, and 150 years ago this was a plantation, a sugar plantation owned by a British company. And most of these other plantations on this island were owned by Americans, and I think Norway was also involved in sugar, and Germany. So we had a bunch of foreigners basically competing about the sugar market. And we are coming down to the area where they used to have a general store. And there we have it, the Konglang Historic Market. All I need to do is to find parking. I parked right in front of the historic Kilauea Theater, built in the 1950s. In the beginning of the 1900s, this was of course an isolated place. So the plantation needed to provide entertainment for the people working, and that's why they built a theater. This is also a building from 1943, I believe. This is not the original building for the general store, but still, this is what we have left today. Run by people from China. Traditionally, they had people from Japan, Philippines, Portugal, things like that. But the guy who ran this store was from China. And now, of course, they are selling completely different things than they did, in 1943. I don't know when they shut down the plantation. I'm guessing it was like in the 70s, probably. And this is what we have left. The Konglang Historic Market Square. And if you continue down this road a few miles, I think it's like 3 miles, you will come down to the lighthouse. It's a famous lighthouse all the way by the water. It's closed today. They open Wednesday. Today is Sunday, so I can't show you the lighthouse, but it's still down there. I will try to come back later this week. It's a nice building. Definitely a beautiful stone building. And this is, of course, a tourist attraction. The good thing is they put up a lot of historic photos. People working, cutting down sugarcane with machetes or parangs, depending on what language you speak. Behind the stone building, you have other stores. Some are open, and a few are closed. Pila'a, yeah, they used to have trains too. The plantation workers came from Portugal, Japan, also from the Philippines and China. And people brought kimonos to Kilauea when they came here. Unfortunately, people destroyed their eyes with a marker. That's kind of sad. Oh man. Graffiti in Kilauea. It's not really graffiti, but it's, should we say vandalism? Yeah, I don't know. It's stupid. Beautiful plumeria tree with only 2 flowers. They were kind enough to put up a map of this touristy village, and they also put up a picture of Queen Liliuokalani when she visited Kilauea. I guess baseball was a big thing. They talk about this in more details, but I don't have time to read it. A last view. Before you come to Hanalei, you have the chance to stop and look out over this beautiful valley. They grow many things, and taro is a major thing. This is also the reason many birds are coming to the area, of course, because they love water. So you have ducks, stilts. I have even seen the Hawaiian goose down there. There is a little road where you can continue, not too long, but you can go deeper in if you like to. Look at the mountain range, isn't that beautiful? I would say this is the best of Kaua'i. And it's also a popular spot. People love coming here and taking pictures, of course. If you're lucky, you might be able to see the Hawaiian coot, the Hawaiian duck, maybe a stilt or two, or other guests. these ducks. They come here after the breeding season. And this fellow is just running away. Don't run away. Okay, guys? Are you hiding? What are you doing? Sneaking out under this fence? Yeah, it's fun. All the time. Right before you get into Hanalei, you are passing a one-lane bridge. It's super beautiful. Of course, it's built a long time ago, before they had cars, probably. Or maybe they had cars, but less traffic. But people are polite and it works out pretty well. And I think I saw a boat down in the river. Let's see if I can get closer. Well, I did. It's a boat and a paddleboarder. Right under the bridge. That's pretty sweet. That is professional, right?
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah. All right. There are many ways you can have fun in Hawaii, and paddleboarding is of course one of these ways. A valley like this is important, not only because it creates a protected area for the wildlife, but also it creates a lot of food. It's a beautiful area. On the northern side of Kaua'i. It's like a hidden valley. The river is coming down from the mountain range. It's quiet right now, but I've seen pictures when the rain is coming down heavily, then this entire valley can be full of water. It happened just a few years ago. It's unreal how much water can come down when it rains in Hawaii. So this hidden valley is protecting the wildlife, at the same time it's creating food. The Hawaiian goose is a beautiful bird. I'm sure you agree. Wow. Look at the feathers and the color. It's just wild. And this is true. You need to slow down because there is a lot of wildlife in this valley. Here and there you are passing irrigation canals, probably dug out a long time ago. They are marked. They have rings around their legs. Because after all, the nene is an endangered species. You could continue to drive this road or walk if you like. But because it's late, I'm going to turn around and go back to my car. I just wanted to give you a sample of this beautiful valley, and I'm sure you agree. I mean, you can't find many of them in Hawaii. There are a few, but this is one of the best, absolutely one of the best.